So in regards to, you know, achieving goals and just your pursuits in life, how do you deal with loved ones who seem determined to hold you back from your goals? And I guess that's kind of assuming that you have loved ones that are determined to hold you back from your goals, right? So
well,
is that, you know, an issue?
This is one of those questions that came in, and I think you voted positive on this question. Was let's answer this question. And why did you want to answer this question so
because
much?
and not that I've had this experience.
Whoever you were that answered this question or that asked this question, I put a line through it. Echo brought it back from the dead. So okay, here we go.
Well, because I think people deal with this. I haven't experienced this personally, but I've seen it happen. I've seen it in other people.
Okay.
And I think part of this is just my philosophy, but I think a big part of this is you can apply it to every situation where it's a supposed loved one, whether it be your family, spouse, whatever, where they will hold you back sometimes. And sometimes it can be because they're like jealous of you or something. So, and not necessarily jealous. So they're going to say, you know, they're going to lie to you and say, hey, that's a bad idea when it's really a good one or nothing like that. They'll just be focusing on the bad part of it. So let's say you were unemployed for a little bit. You've been working hard to get this job and you finally get a job. And then a parent or whatever says, well, it's about time, you know? So instead of, dang, you got this job, congratulations, they focus on the negative, and that can be discouraging on a personal level. Like there was no happiness, there was no encouragement, there was no one saying that, no one making me feel like they were on my team and make me feel like I'm alone in doing this. People do that, and then they do a bunch of other stuff as well, telling you the other part that I said. They will tell you it's a bad idea to start this new company. You know, because they may be afraid subconsciously or whatever that, you know, you might outshine them or you might do something good when they haven't done anything good. So
yes.
So how do you deal with that? And of course, a bunch of other ways that they can kind of get in the way. This probably isn't going to be anything new, but you know how you surround yourself with like-minded people, or you surround yourself by certain types of people and you're going to start to become like that. So I'm not saying disown any family members or loved ones. I'm not saying that, but you have to create boundaries, specific boundaries to these people. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's my family and I can't change that, or that's my family. So, you know, and they feel like they're under this obligation to essentially give away part of their life. But I think it should be the opposite. I think that that's your family, so they should understand that you're on a path to success, or you want to be on a path to success. And if they're in the way, then they're in the way, and those boundaries have to be created. If they can't handle that, then they're someone who is against you in your path. And if you're on a successful path and someone is against you, just the eventuality is that they're going to be cut out of your life. And if they can respect the boundaries, then boom, you can keep them in your life, and they can be them, and I love them for them, no matter how negative they're, and you can have all that. But if you don't, they're either going to bring you down, or you got to cut them out of your life, family or not. I think family should be held in a higher standard than your friend or your whatever, because they're your family. They're the one who should be treating you good. So you're saying your loved ones are treating you bad. They're the last people that should be treating you bad. They're your loved ones. So if they're not treating you good, then, like I said, they're the one in violation, not you for pursuing your path and, you know, and not giving them the attention, or not going to their house every other Saturday or whatever, like you're supposed to, or whatever. It's their fault, or not their fault, but it's their responsibility to support you. And if they're not, then like anyone else who's not supporting you, they should either have a boundary between you and them or be cut out of your life.
I think that's fairly sound advice. I'll tell you that a couple things from my perspective. First of all, I think that many people are negative in the world. And to coin a term that is used very often these days, a lot of people are haters. and they don't want you to succeed. And we would see that, we'd even see that in the SEAL teams, because SEAL teams is a bunch of really super competitive guys, and everybody is competitive with each other. And when someone starts doing something well, other people can get jealous of them pretty quickly. And so that, like I had one friend of mine who he decided that, hey, he was going to try and take like a year off or get orders to go to an Ivy League school while he was in the SEAL teams. And he had applied and actually got into one of the best colleges in the world to go there for a year and get a degree. And, that's awesome. And he came to me and he said, hey, I've got some guys that are telling me I shouldn't do this. It's going to be bad for my career and this, that, and the other thing. And I said, bro, I hate to tell you this. These guys are they're haters. They're just jealous. The fact that you thought of this, the fact that you went on a limb, the fact that you made this happen, the fact that you put in an application, the fact that you took the test to get into the school, and now you're going to go there. You're going to have that on your resume, which is awesome. Mm. You know what? Don't worry about anybody else. They're just, I hate to use the word jealous, but they're jealous. Yeah. The fact that you're going to go out and make this happen, which I thought that was awesome. The other kind of contrary advice to what you just said is when people aren't approving what you're doing and they're saying negative things to you and they're not giving you the praise that you want for what you're doing, that's your fault. You're the one that's wanting praise. You're the one that's looking for approval. You're the one that wants all this support. Like, no, I don't expect anything from anybody because people are crazy, as I briefed earlier. And they're not going to give you support. If they're one of these people that are negative, they're going to be negative no matter what you do. So you can't be hung up on getting their approval and getting their support. You go forth and conquer regardless of what people are trying to do to hold you back. No one's going to hold you back. Who's going to hold you back? How's that going to happen? You don't let them hold you back.
Yeah, and I agree with that last part. You don't let them hold you back. But here's an example. Let's say you're pursuing this, I don't know, business degree or something, or you want to start a t-shirt company, and it takes all this time. You got to really get your knowledge down and you really do all your research and stuff, and it takes a lot of time. Let's say it takes 15 hours a day, every single day, while you're getting this thing up and running. But you visit your mom on the weekends, typically. And you go down there, you help her with her yard work just because she wants company.
Right.
You do all this stuff. If you don't, she makes you feel guilty. If you can't make it or I don't know, you're sick or something, she makes you feel guilty. So you're under this obligation. And when you grow up, it kind of gets ingrained into you, like these relationships with your loved ones. And not to mention they're your loved ones. They're supposed to love you, and you're supposed to love them.
Okay.
So I think you do care about the support. I think that's a natural part of it. If that's your loved ones, I'm not saying like your friend or your neighbor's not recognizing my success or whatever. That's your loved ones. Typically, that's if anyone's going to praise you, you're going to hope that they're the first ones.
Yeah, but you can't be hung up on it, especially if they're crazy.
Right, and that's my point.
That was your point.
Yeah,
okay.
So
accepted.
So you say you that's how they can hold you back. If it's ingrained in you that you have to be there for your mom, if she's trained you from a little kid to say, you owe me, I gave you life.
Then again, that's your fault. If you're letting them hold you back, then that's your fault.
Right.
You need to take ownership of it and move on.
Yes. So yeah, exactly right. And that's what I mean by you create those barriers. You have to suck it up or cut them out of your life. And how you would say about other people or other situations when you're in a job or a leadership situation where you can make them understand. If you can make them understand what you're doing, that's ideal, where you can maintain the integrity of the relationship.
You are correct. Now you just hit a home run because you're going back to the basic principles. You have to let people understand why, and you have to make them understand why it's going to be beneficial for them in the long run. You know, I used to dealing with guys when we were working hard, training guys for combat, or we were training for combat, and you think, oh, well, you got to let these guys get home to their families. They got to get home tonight. Let's let them out early. And I'd say, look, the best thing we can do for these guys to help them and their families is to train them as hard as possible. So in the long run, when they come home from combat, that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
And everybody understands that message. So it's the same thing. You're right. When you explain to your family members, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is how it's going to benefit me, which will thereby benefit you, which will thereby benefit our whole family. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Explain the why.
Yeah.